We are driving the 2019 Ram 1500. This truck is a big deal. It's not just a big deal because of its new interesting powertrain options, including 2 motors with a mild hybrid system. And it's not just a big deal because it's got a completely revised exterior and interior styling that takes it more upscale feeling, even in the lower level trims. No, this is a big deal because this is Ram's best-selling model by far. Well, there are going to be 3 gas engine options in the Ram 1500. The one we're driving today is the 5.7 liter Hemi V8. It's got 395 horsepower, 410 foot-pound of torque, and just like the other 2 gasoline-powered engines, it's backed up by a TorqueFlite branded ZF-built 8-speed automatic. Since it got the coil suspension with the last generation, the Ram has sort of taken the lead in on-road comfort and refinement in the full-size segment. This truck has slightly altered suspension geometry, still with that rear coils type suspension, and it sort of is taking that refinement, that comfort to the next level. You can cover a lot of miles in without getting fatigued. The seats are comfortable, the steering is precise and accurate. These trucks, 1500 class trucks in general, spend a lot of time in suburbs, in the city, on the freeway. People use these to commute, pick up their kids. These are multi-purpose vehicles and they have to do the on-road portion really well. Of course, when you redo a 1500 class pickup, you can't just say it's a little more comfortable and it's a little quieter. You always have to add capability. The 2019 properly equipped in 2-wheel drive can tow more than 12,000 pounds. Payload's been increased too. The other thing is the vehicle itself has more utility. The cab is 4 inches longer, and that translates to an extra inch up front, which helps with leg room and so forth. But it's really evident with the 3 extra inches you get in back. With a flat load floor, if you fold the rear seats up, you could fill it floor to ceiling with boxes, whatever you want. The center console is a sort of cavernous area. You can fit a 15-inch laptop, hanging files. You could fit a pretty good-sized tool bag down there if you just want to have your tools covered up. And there are little cubbies and bins in the back. It's an impressive truck from a space efficiency and utility standpoint. Let's take a closer look at 2 front ends of the 2019 Ram 1500, show you a bit of the differences going from one trim to another. So here we have a Bighorn trim. It's a 2nd trim level up from Tradesman, and this truck has a sport package. So we've got sport wheels. We also have the nice body colored grille surround. We have the body colored bumper here. Also notice the horizontal elements here are simpler than they will be on the Limited, which we'll show you in a second. And the last thing I want to point out is it's a simpler headlight than what the Limited has. It's not an unattractive or cheap looking headlight, but it's a bit simpler. The Limited obviously communicates that it's much higher up on the range with a lot of chrome. There's chrome up here, there's chrome in this element that blends into the bumper, and you've got chrome tow hooks. The other thing you've got is the texture on the horizontal elements, which is really nicely finished. It looks really cool up close. The headlights are a little bit different than in the sport package. The inner light element rotates with the front wheels, and they're sort of more premium looking and a little more complex. Both ends look pretty premium. The materials are nice, the finish is nice, the textures are nice. So it's not that the Bighorn Sport looks much cheaper than this. They both look nice and interesting, and I think that's a credit to the designers at Ram. We're in a Rebel right now. We're gonna be checking out an off-road course that the Ram guys have prepared here on this kind of a dude ranch sort of situation. If you're familiar with the outgoing trucks Rebel model, you'll be pretty familiar with what's happening here. It's basically a combination of some off-road equipment, some appearance stuff. The interior's got some neat detailing, some accents that the other trucks don't have. This is indeed some pretty deep sand, some kind of gnarly ruts in it, and this truck with these tires, with the axle locker, with 4-wheel drive low engage, just kind of sets in and digs itself out when it gets a little stuck. It's more a when in doubt, throttle out kind of thing. So much fun in the desert. Would it be great in a super tight, forested, technical, muddy climb? No, but I mean, there are other vehicles for that, so that's not really what this is about. It's also not a Raptor, but it's not pretending to be a Raptor. It really is just a basic Ram 1500 with, you know, a little extra off-road capability, some much better tires, a bit of a lift, and like I've said before, those appearance upgrades. So, you know, it's a good middle ground. I think Ram was really smart for a number of reasons of going to a rear coil suspension, and, you know, in a truck like this, in a situation like this, it really shows off how well behaved the rear axle is. It soaks up the bumps in a way that reminds me a little bit of the Tacoma TRD Pro on a larger scale. The 2019 Ram 1500 has a bit of a dual personality, and I'm not talking about some Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde thing. I'm saying you get full-size truck capabilities, but you also get something else. You get all-day road trip comfort for multiple adults in style, and you don't really have a lot of compromise. You don't have the truckiness that you used to associate with a full-size pickup.